That little lip lick your dog does when someone says hello is usually not friendliness at all. Very often, it's your dog's first attempt to keep the moment from becoming too much. And because it looks so small, so harmless, most owners miss the beginning of the conversation. You've probably seen it. You walk in the door, a guest arrives, your puppy trots over, your rescue dog approaches with a wagging tail, somebody bends down, reaches out a hand, and there it is. A tiny flick of the tongue across the lips or nose, so fast it's easy to dismiss. Most people do. They say the dog is excited, giving kisses, smelling food, being submissive, being weird, being dramatic. And honestly, that assumption seems reasonable because the dog may still come closer, they may still wag, they may even seem eager. But greetings are one of the most socially loaded moments in a dog's day, and that quick lip lick is often not random at all. It can be a stress signal, a self-soothing signal, an appeasement signal, or a learned response to a situation that feels intense, conflicted, or too fast. So in this video, I want to show you what lip licking during greetings may really mean, how to tell the difference between harmless communication and rising discomfort, and how to respond in a way that helps your dog feel safer instead of accidentally pushing them toward bigger behavior later. And one important detail before we go deeper. I'm not talking about your dog choosing to lick your hand or face. I'm talking about that brief tongue flick across their own lips, the one you often only notice if you replay the moment in slow motion. That tiny movement can carry more emotional information than the big tail wag everyone sees. One reason this is so misunderstood is that human greetings and dog comfort are often a terrible match. Humans love direct eye contact, leaning in, reaching from above, high voices, crowded doorways, quick touch, faces close to faces. From a dog's point of view, that can be a lot all at once. People who study canine communication have been pointing this out for years. Turid Rugas helped many owners notice these subtle signals through the idea of calming signals, and veterinary behavior professionals have continued to emphasize the same larger truth. Dogs often communicate discomfort long before they do anything dramatic. Organizations like the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior repeatedly stress the importance of reading early body language, not just waiting for barking, growling, or snapping. That matters because stress does not always look like panic. Sometimes stress just means the nervous system is working harder. The body is trying to regulate. Social pressure has gone up. The dog is managing uncertainty, excitement, conflict, or all three at once. So, when a dog licks their lips right as a person leans over them, stares at them, reaches for the top of their head, or blocks their path, the useful question is not, "Why is my dog acting strange?" It's, "What about this greeting just became hard?" And that changes what you do next. Instead of asking for more contact, reduce pressure. Turn your body a little sideways. Pause the reaching. Let the dog come in a curve instead of straight on. Ask guests to ignore the dog for a moment instead of trying to win them over instantly. If your dog looks uncertain, tossing a treat gently away from the person can help because it gives the dog something many greetings accidentally remove: space and choice. Here is where owners get tripped up though. A dog can lick their lips and still approach. A dog can lick their lips and still wag. A dog can lick their lips and then sniff, jump, lick your hand, or even ask for petting. That does not mean the lip lick meant nothing. Dogs can feel mixed things at the same time: curious and cautious, social and overwhelmed, interested but not ready, wanting information but not wanting pressure. That's why good behavior reading is never about one body part in isolation. It's about the whole moment. A wagging tail is not a full emotional diagnosis. It tells you the dog is engaged or aroused. It does not automatically tell you the dog is relaxed. And approaching a person is not the same thing as consenting to touch. Many dogs move closer because they want to investigate, because greeting has become a habit, because they want access to you, or because they are trying to manage the interaction, not because they feel fully comfortable with what is about to happen. This is also where what behaviorists call displacement behavior becomes useful to understand. When a dog has competing feelings, the body often leaks out small, seemingly unrelated actions: lip licking, sudden sniffing, looking away, shaking off, scratching, yawning. They're not nonsense. They're often part of how a dog regulates emotion or softens social tension. So imagine this sequence. A visitor comes in. Your dog walks forward. The visitor bends over them. Your dog lip licks, turns their head, blinks, and still stands there. The visitor keeps petting. A few seconds later, your dog jumps away, barks, mouths, or starts bouncing wildly. To a human, it looks like the behavior changed out of nowhere, but it often didn't. The quieter part happened first. And that is one of the biggest reframes in this whole topic. Your dog is not being dramatic. Your dog may be being diplomatic. That tiny tongue flick can mean something very close to trying to keep this friendly. Please make it easier. Once you see it that way, a lot of so-called bad greeting behavior starts to make more sense. The dog who suddenly jumps up after someone looms over them. The puppy who gets mouthy when everyone crowds in. The rescue dog who seems fine until a stranger reaches for their collar. The family dog who tolerated visitors for months and then started barking at the door. Bigger behavior often has smaller subtitles before it. There's another layer too, and this is where greetings become even more revealing. Dogs do not only respond to what is happening now, they respond to what greetings have come to predict. If greetings usually mean being trapped in a doorway, hugged, kissed, patted on the head, stared at, restrained, swarmed by children, or dragged toward a person to say hi, your dog can start lip-licking before contact even happens. Now, the behavior is not just a reaction, it is anticipation, and anticipation can be powerful. Dogs learn quickly. If a certain person, a certain doorway, a certain voice, or even the sound of keys has repeatedly led to socially intense contact, the body gets ready early. That's why some dogs lip-lick the moment the doorbell rings, or when they see a familiar neighbor. Or when you pick up the leash and head toward the lobby where people always try to greet them. This is especially important for puppies and rescue dogs. Puppies are not tiny extroverts who need to be passed around until they stop protesting. Socialization is not flooding a puppy with contact. It is teaching them that people are predictable, safe, and easy to opt in and out of. If a puppy lip licks during greetings, that is not a failure. It is information. Slow the lesson down, and with rescue dogs, history matters even when you don't know the history. Progress is not how fast a stranger can touch them. Progress is how safe they feel observing, retreating, and returning without pressure. Research on dog-human attachment helps explain why your own role matters so much here. Work by Lisa Horn and colleagues on the secure base effect showed that dogs use familiar humans as a base of safety. In plain language, your dog looks to you to help decide whether the social world is manageable. So, when your dog lip licks during a greeting, especially with unfamiliar people, they may not just be reacting to the other person. They may also be checking whether you are going to make this easier or harder. That is why this tiny signal matters so much emotionally. Your dog may be asking for help in a very polite voice. And yes, even with you, the favorite person, lip licking can still happen. Some dogs do it when their owner comes home, not because they don't love the reunion, but because love and overwhelm can coexist. Reunions spike arousal. Movement, noise, anticipation, restraint, excitement, and the urge to make contact all hit at once. The dog may adore you and still need a second for their nervous system to organize around the moment. So if you see lip licking when you return home, don't read that as rejection. Read it as information about intensity. So, what do you actually do with all of this? First, stop treating lip licking like a meaningless quirk. Treat it like data. Notice when it happens, who it happens with, how close the person is, what the hands are doing, whether the dog can move away, and what comes before and after it. If you can, film 1 or 2 greetings at home and watch them later. The things owners miss in real time become obvious on replay. You'll often see the tongue flick, the head turn, the weight shift backward, the eye blink, the half-second freeze. And once you see the sequence, your timing gets better. Second, lower the social pressure in the moment. This is the fastest, kindest change most owners can make. Fewer hands, less reaching, less face-to-face pressure, more side-on bodies, more pause, more letting the dog gather information at their own speed. With visitors, one of the best early moves is simply asking people not to touch the dog right away. Let the dog investigate, let them move away, let them come back. Many dogs look dramatically more comfortable when they are allowed to approach, retreat, and reapproach without anyone chasing the interaction. Third, give the dog an exit path. So many greeting problems get worse because the dog feels trapped. A doorway, a tight leash, a crowd of legs, a child hugging, a person kneeling in front of the only route out. If you change nothing else, change that. A baby gate, a little more distance, a mat away from the entrance, or even a few treats scattered on the floor to move the dog out of the pressure zone can completely change the emotional tone. Safety is not only about preventing the worst-case moment, it's about preventing the dog from feeling cornered enough to need one. Fourth, build better predictions. If guests have historically meant pressure, start changing the meaning of guest arrival. Maybe the doorbell predicts a sniffing scatter in another room. Maybe the dog watches visitors from behind a gate, with good things happening at a comfortable distance. Maybe greeting now means checking in with you instead of being physically handled. You are not trying to convince the dog with force. You are changing the story their body expects. Fifth, support the calmer choices you want to see once the dog is able to offer them. A soft body, looking at the person and then back to you, choosing to stay on a mat, sniffing the floor instead of springing upward, pausing instead of rushing in. Those are useful moments. Those are the choices that can grow. And here is a question that confuses a lot of good owners. If my dog is nervous, should I comfort them, or will that reinforce the fear? Usually, what helps is not emotional coldness, it's clarity and relief. You are not teaching your dog to be afraid by helping them feel safer. You are not creating a problem by stepping in, softening your voice, increasing distance, or pairing the situation with something pleasant. What tends to make things worse is pretending the dog is fine and piling on more pressure. Emotions are not fixed by social obligation. What you do want to avoid is rewarding the chaos of the greeting itself while missing the discomfort underneath. If the dog is frantic, jumping, or spiraling, don't keep escalating the scene with more squealing, grabbing, or repeated attempts to settle them down through touch they didn't ask for. Lower the intensity first, then notice and support recovery, and protect the signal. This matters a lot. If your dog lip licks, turns away, or moves off, honor that. Don't hold the collar and present them to the person anyway. Don't laugh while a child keeps hugging. Don't punish the growl if the dog had to get louder after the quieter signals were missed. Dogs often climb a communication ladder. They try subtle first. If subtle never works, behavior usually gets bigger. Punishing the bigger signal can remove the warning without removing the discomfort that caused it. There is also an important difference between normal communication and a pattern that deserves closer attention. A single lip lick is not a crisis. Sometimes it really is mild arousal. Sometimes the dog just swallowed, smelled food, or had a fleeting moment of uncertainty and recovered instantly. Don't turn one tiny behavior into a whole identity for your dog. The question is pattern and context. Does it happen specifically when people approach, when hands come from above, when children get close, when the dog is on leash and can't move away? Does it repeat several times? Does it cluster with head turns, ears pinned back, whites of the eyes showing, panting, yawning, sudden sniffing, freezing, backing away, barking, hiding, growling, or frantic jumping and mouthing? Does your dog stay activated long after the greeting ends? If yes, that deserves more careful support. And if children are involved, take this especially seriously. A lip lick under a child's face, during hugging, or while a child is reaching repeatedly is not a cute photo opportunity. It is information to slow everything down and create distance. There's one more piece of nuance worth holding on to. Not every repeated lip lick is purely emotional. If your dog is lip licking a lot outside greeting situations too, especially with drooling, gulping, nausea signs, face rubbing, or mouth discomfort, it's worth considering medical causes as well. Behavior and physical discomfort can overlap. You don't have to guess. And if greetings are regularly escalating into freezing, lunging, snapping, or intense distress, especially in homes with visitors or kids, getting help from a qualified force-free behavior professional or veterinary behaviorist is not overreacting. It is smart. The goal is not to make the dog tolerate more. The goal is to help the dog feel safer sooner. What I love about understanding this behavior is how much it changes the emotional story. That flick of the tongue is so small, easy to miss, easy to dismiss. But inside it can be a whole world of meaning: social pressure, learning history, attachment, uncertainty, effort, restraint, hope, caution. Your dog is not failing the greeting. Your dog may be trying very hard to keep the greeting from failing. And when you learn to see that, you start helping earlier, before the bark, before the jump, before the growl, before the shame, the confusion, the "why is my dog like this?" moment. You stop seeing a difficult dog and start seeing a communicating one. So the next time your dog licks their lips during a greeting, don't just ask what behavior you want. Ask what your dog might be feeling, what just got harder, and how you can make the moment easier. That question changes a lot. If you've noticed this in your own dog, especially if a subtle signal only made sense to you later, tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if you want more deep dives into the hidden meaning of everyday dog behavior, subscribe, because sometimes the smallest signal is the one that tells you the most.